going with this? Probably it's about the uselessness, of worry, and
So
possibly even the detriment of it.
already started. So I love the fact that that is. I I love that. So welcome everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of Thoughts Explored.
Somehow I've been surprised yet again when she pipes up and says, "Oh well, we've already been recording."
I love it. It's so much fun. So much
Yes, my
fun.
love, it is. Mm-hmm.
So we are. I can't believe this, but we're at the end of August
The end of
already.
August, and so basically, you know what I always say: once you hit Labor Day, you're basically at Halloween.
Oh dear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So here we are. We're bringing you another episode from our home, and we're going to talk about a topic that I think might be helpful. Um, but it's just our thoughts about worry. Um, and what I wanted to really talk about is um, that I don't think it's helpful to worry.
That is
But
exactly as I suspected that would be your take. How interesting.
however, we will get into it a little bit further, but not but. And I'd like to hear your thoughts now that you've had the topic to marinate for a couple days. What are your
Although I've
thoughts?
had the topic to marinate for a couple of days, I haven't, in fact, marinated. But
Ah,
my thoughts, when you first told me the topic a couple of weeks ago was going to be worry, my first thought,
did you start worried about what you were going to say?
well, no, I mean, my first thought was, again, that self examination of like worry, concern. What is the difference between worry and reasonable,
Concern.
understood like concern? I am concerned that I'm not going to be able to pass this test or to do whatever. I think that is different than worry. And the other thing that just came to my mind sort of organically was when I think of worrying something, I think about like a dog with a bone or like a worry stone that you have literally
Worn out.
worn down and changed the shape of, which changing the shape of isn't in and of itself bad, but that sort of not concern and thought, but like a sort of more of a pathological obsessive thought
I think
that
it.
isn't helpful because you're really not moving. You're not really moving from it.
So I love how you've added in the concern component. I think that that is a good differentiation, but I think that is why I said worry because I think concern is valid,
But
and so and oh, I said valid. Oh, oh boy. So let me back it up. Here's here's my take on it. I feel like worry involves a lot of attention, our attention, and when we start thinking about something and really focusing on that and then putting energy into that, I think we have to really consider to what end we're doing that for, right? So I feel like I'll use the example of the accident that my clumsy accident that I had, where I did a face plant in the the middle of the street. I tripped over a stone that I didn't see, um, and that was quite jarring. I mean, I got the air knocked out of me, and I was flat in the middle of the street. I felt like I was going to be okay. I trusted my body to know that it was going to heal itself. I just needed some time for that to happen. And so my focus during that time was more about everything that was going to happen and be in my favor to heal myself instead of perseverating on, geez, this really hurts. I'm never going to, it's never going to get better. I need to do all of these other things, and then just these other things being things that might not be helpful, thinking about how things could go wrong instead of how they could go right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I found that very helpful for myself. Um, and so that's my example. And so I think it could have gone very wrong had I been like, well, I need to, let me go to the ER, this, that, and the other. Let me not trusting that, hey, number one, I'm living with a former nurse who could give me the best advice ever.
Except you never even told me about the incident until hours and hours later.
Well, you weren't here, but
Anywho,
so I had my own knowing of my body and all of those things, and so that for me is a really good example of putting the energy into positive things. And so then from that, my actions then became things that supported those thoughts. And so don't get me wrong, I don't feel like you can just think your way out of things. You have to have inspired actions with those thoughts in order to equal the power that you're, whatever you're trying to, get going. So that's what I would say. So your example about concern, I think, is
well, and of course you
certainly
know me
different.
well enough, Chris, to know that if the subject is worry, I'm going to bring up, because I do believe that most everything has got a dark side and a shining side
Yes.
to the same coin.
Yes.
And I feel intuitively, without thinking too much about it, that worry is the negative side of the same coin of like valid concern.
Yes.
And valid like, let me truthfully assess the situation and do what I must do to,
Sure.
to make it better. So that's why, of course, I naturally would bring up,
You've got another
the
option there.
yin to the yang, the worry to the concern,
Yes,
not to
of
say
course.
that, but anyway, I do agree though that worry tends to be something, in my opinion, that becomes consuming and with no real end. I mean,
Right.
like with no real plan. It sort of is just consuming like a mindless hamster on a wheel. Not that all hamsters are mindless. I don't mean that, but you know what I mean, kind of. But like that is just a rote thing, and you get into a habit, and you get into a cycle of worry, and there's no real consideration. Whereas with concern, even if it seems very, very grave concern, usually there is consideration to an end, to help it, to to take action.
The worry to me also indicates, it's like when I said perseverate, I also mean like a compulsive
Right.
kind of, it's like when you have a scab.
Precisely what I mean.
And
And you
so-
worry at it.
And, we all know sometimes, like when we were kids, we would pick at the scab because we didn't know enough to know that the scab was doing its work
Let it do its work.
by being
right?
there. There was nothing wrong with that scab being there. As a matter of fact, there was everything right with that scab being there. And so,
Well, that's exactly what I mean when
Yeah.
when I say like worry to me is something that is kind of mindless
Yeah.
and compulsive.
yeah,
More than something that is considerate, concerned,
yeah,
considering this option, this option, this option. When you're in a worry, when I'm in a worry anyway, it's all consuming, and it has no constructive criticism. it has no.
Filters is what you mean.
Well, and
Everything just
no
kind of-
forward motion. It's
Yeah.
just kind of all caught up.
It's a circular
It's just all caught up in this circular kind of.
hamster wheel.
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
So I think on that we do agree that it's kind of like a compulsive.
Oh, I think we agree
Thing.
on both things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think that there's a disagreement at all. I think I wanted us to talk about it just because I feel like it was a helpful topic.
Oh, I think so
Yeah.
too. And I mean, I, for one, can easily find myself in a true full-blown worry.
Yeah.
But when I do find myself in a true full-blown worry, where it's
Yeah.
like, this is more than just like, no, I'm gravely concerned.
Yeah.
And there are times and topics where, it's appropriate to be gravely concerned. When I catch myself going into the worry, at least now my practice is to at least even be cognizant of it. And if I have to continue living in the worry for another 24 hours, so be it. But at least I'm like, no, Lex, so to speak. No worries. This is truly just
Yeah.
worry. And it takes a lot of time and it's a bit meaningless, but it's okay. You're fine.
Yeah.
You can shift to concern, lay the worry down and shift to constructive concern whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
So that recognition of the difference, I think, is key.
Okay.
So
I
good topic.
think that's good. I think that's a good topic, and that's a perfect ending point for
Okay.
us. I love it. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I am feeling the change of light,
Yeah.
as we creep towards fall.
As we
But
fall
that's-
into fall.
Yeah, as we sort of tumble
Yeah.
into fall.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's the change of the seasons and
Can't
all that
stop
goes
what's
with it.
coming.
Exactly.
As Tori Amos
As Tori
says.
Amos would say, exactly. Can't stop what is on its way.
Yeah. All right.
All right, love you guys.
We will see you again, or we will speak with you again next month.
Yeah.
Seems like we're doing them at the end of the month, but we'll see. Love you all.
Love and gratitude.
Peace and joy. Bye.